Hello everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. I thought I'd take you out on a walk with me on this sunny afternoon. We're going to preview tomorrow night's big game against West Ham, which I'll be doing a watch along for. So tune into the Magpie Channel TV for that one. It's been a while since we've done a watch along, but bringing one back for you tomorrow afternoon. Should have been going to the West Ham game, had the ticket. Queen's game got rearranged. Can't make this one during the week. So yeah, we'll be doing a live watch along for it on the Magpie Channel tomorrow night. What time is the game? 7:45? 8? 7:45 I think. 7:30 we'll be live around then. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll talk about the West Ham game in a minute. We'll talk about obviously Allan Saint-Maximin's future after that interview he did with Keith Downey on Sky Sports before the Man United game, before he had an absolute stormer, before he had an unreal game, in my opinion and many other fans, on Sunday afternoon at St James's. We'll talk about what he said, some big things he said as well, and he had some big claims and lines in the matchday programme as well, so we'll touch on that. But first of all, just thought I'd keep you informed that today was Michael's funeral. Obviously you all know about my mate Michael Savage that passed away now a couple of weeks ago. A lot of you donated to the Just Giving page for his mum. We raised £2,300 for the funeral costs and the charities associated with that, so amazing stuff. I thought I'd just let you know that Michael was laid to rest today. And thank yous once again for getting involved, donating, and all the kind messages. So really appreciate that, and it was a lovely send-off for Michael. So yeah, we're now just under 24 hours until Newcastle play yet again. 3 games in 6 days for Eddie Howe's Mags, and what was a mint performance on Sunday. We'll look to carry that on tomorrow night, Wednesday night, in the capital, and the lads are staying down in the capital. Eddie Howe and the boys are going to be staying there for a good few days, training down south, because there was actually no point in coming back, was there, really? I mean, they'd be coming back for a day and then travelling back down pretty much by the time they play Brentford on Saturday. So they're staying down there. 2 hard away games in a week. I mean, 3 away games in a row. They've got Aston Villa away next Saturday lunchtime, week on Saturday. But first off, it's West Ham tomorrow night. That's what we're focusing on. Looking for 4 wins in a row to completely transform what looked like slipping away from Champions League. And now we're still third in the league after Everton's last-minute equaliser against Spurs last night. So that blue side of Liverpool did we a bit of a favour, kept Spurs below us. Spurs getting a point makes them level on 50, so it's getting extra tight up there, 3rd, 4th and 5th on 50 points, I think it is. Focus on ourselves. Keep doing what we're doing, which is winning games. 4 games in a row we're looking for, and you couldn't have picked a much better place to go in terms of Newcastle United's record. We've got a really, really good record at West Ham. It's one of our best places to go in London, especially. And this season, we haven't been beaten in London. I remember back in the day we used to always get beaten in London. We never used to get a result anywhere too much, but now we've beaten Arsenal, drew with Palace, beat Spurs, and there's one other, beat Fulham. So we beat them too convincingly as well. So we're really looking to kick on with our capital record this season, going back down to London. And like I say, West Ham, we've got a very strong record there, especially at their new stadium, if you still want to call it new. But a few outings there and a few wins and a couple of draws, so it's impressive really. Our record there is impressive. Callum Wilson record is very impressive against West Ham. Now he came off the bench against Man United and scored. Will he start? Eddie Howe was asked this in the press conference today. Would you mix things up? Because he's actually played a lot of games lately. He started for us, he started for Sweden in the international break. And because of Wilson's record against the Hammers, 10 goals in 12 appearances against West Ham United for Callum Wilson. He absolutely loves playing them. Loves playing his good old mate, Mikel Antonio. So can he bag again? You know what I mean? So it's, for me, I wouldn't want to change that winning formula. Now there's talks of maybe Joe Willock coming out the team as well, because he took a knock, even though he has been pictured training today. He went off against Man United with a knock. Eddie was asked about in his press conference. He was saying he hadn't seen him yet. He hadn't trained yet when he was asked about his fitness, so we don't know about him yet. We're going to have to rotate rather against West Ham or against Brentford, because 3 games in 6 days, you're not going to play the same 11 that many times. You're just not. And it's such a busy month in April as well. It's non-stop. So will he make a change? Would Wilson start? You couldn't drop Isaac, really, could you? How influential he's been. But then you look and you think, who would you drop? Unless it was a midfielder dropping out for Joe Linton, maybe, you know, because Jacob Murphy's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Delighted for him. Great lad, loves the tune, working hard, and his form's been good. He's looked dangerous. Everyone was a threat. Gordon came off the bench, looked good the other day. So there's options for Eddie Howe. And West Ham is a big game, and I'm confident going at this one, to be honest with you, because I think it was good for them getting a win the other day. Obviously, they won 1-0 against relegation. Threatened Southampton as well. They're relegation rivals. They got a big win. And I think that eased the pressure, but I think if they had got beat off Southampton at home or even drew, then they would have been looking at maybe thinking Moyes' last game maybe. You know, if he doesn't beat Newcastle, they're lingering in the bottom three. We've seen what happened with Brendan Rodgers. Seen what happened with Graham Potter. Moyes could definitely be next. But Moyes' been there before and done it. Moyes' been brought in to save teams from relegation, so he's probably the ideal candidate to just keep them up, even though they are massively underachieving. You look at their team, you see a lot of pundits and players and everyone else saying Newcastle spent the money, that's why they're there. West Ham spent £100 million on 2 players last summer. Heavily linked Lucas Paqueta for West Ham. I'm going to turn around and go back this way. It's quiet this way. Even though I'm against the sun now. Paqueta, 50 million. Samaka, 50 million, who is apparently West Ham's only absentee tomorrow night. So they've got a fully fit squad as well. So West Ham has spent money. West Ham's team on paper is very good. West Ham's team this season, they've been crap. They got a draw against us. Obviously Paqueta scored at St James's Park. But yeah, they haven't been good at all, have they? The league table doesn't lie, and they deserve to be where they are. But a Wednesday night against West Ham, our record's good there, like I've said. Wilson's good there. We're on fire at the minute, full of confidence, trying to stay in the top 4. West Ham, though, are trying to avoid the drop, so it's a huge, big game for them where they can look to try and get back-to-back results. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 Newcastle win. 2-0 Newcastle. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. Now then, let's talk about Allan Saint-Maximin, who did the interview before the Man United game, as I've said, and he was basically, to keep things short and sweet, because I've waffled on quite a bit already, saying that he had the chance to leave Newcastle United in the January transfer window. He was talking to clubs, he did have offers, he did come close, he considered it, but he wanted to stay, and most importantly, he felt like he was wanted to stay. He felt needed. He's needy, Maxi. He's in one of them relationships where he needs to feel the love. You know what I mean? Can't be having no half-arsed girlfriend. He wants her all the time. Affection. That's what he wants, you know what I mean? He wants them on top, you know? So, and he feels like that way at Newcastle. He feels wanted. He felt like Eddie Howe said to him, look, I need you to stay. I want you to stay. You're a big part of the plans. And the club said that they really need him to stay. Especially if you think in January he was still in the cups and stuff. Obviously had the semi-final and stuff looming of the Carabao Cup. So Maxi probably thought he saw that. I've been at Newcastle for a few years now. I've got this chance to win a trophy. But a lot of people don't want to move in January. Look at Maxi's got his kids here, got everything here. And I do believe he wants to stay. I really do believe he wants to stay. And, you know, he said, I'm not focusing on leaving Newcastle as it stands now because I've stayed in January. And in the summer, I'll assess my options. He says, as long as I still feel like I'm part of the plans and I'm wanted and I'm needed and I'll play, then he'll stay. But that's the big issue, isn't it? If I play. Because there's a big chance that he doesn't play next year, depending on what we do in the summer, in Eddie Howe's style of play at the minute, because he was saying that he wasn't playing enough. He says that, yes, he was injured, the team were playing well, so he understood he couldn't get back in, but he felt like he wasn't getting enough chances, even off the bench. So you look at it and you think, will that change that much? And especially if we had a Diaby or a Madison or whoever in the summer, will it become more limited? Gordon's still got a breakthrough. Almiron, if he keeps up his form. Maxi's not going to be happy being on the bench. Maxi wants to be the star of the show. He wants to be the main man. So that's an interesting one. And he touched on it in his programme notes on Sunday as well, saying, I've heard all these things where people say, I don't work hard enough, I don't track back. This was really honest of him, really good to hear, to be fair. He was saying, I've heard fans, I've heard pundits, I've heard people say, I don't fit into the system, I'm not a hard worker, I'm not good defensively. And he kind of rebuffed those claims. And he says he's willing to work harder, he's willing to do those things, and he can do those things. And to be fair, on Sunday, he showed that he could. He completely showed that he could on Sunday. He showed how good he can be. And that is what frustrates me. Because I look at Allan Saint-Maximin, and on Sunday, ask me if I want him to stay in Newcastle. On that basis, I'd say I want him to sign a 10-year contract, and I want him to be here until he retires. Give him one of the best wages at the club. He's outstanding. And then you might watch him tomorrow night at West Ham, or you watch him a couple of weeks ago. Well, he hasn't touched the ball. He didn't pass when he should have. He ran that into the corner. He lost the ball. He shrugged his shoulders. He didn't run back. He didn't track his man. But then on Man United game, he does everything you'd want out of a player and more. You couldn't have asked for a better performance, really, on Sunday. He might have, should have, got another assist. Maybe could have nicked the goal himself. But bloody hell, for a winger, he was absolutely unreal. 10 out of 10. Top class performance. Do you know what I mean? So that's where it annoys you, where you think, obviously, not everyone has a 10 out of 10 game every week. But you look at Maxi and you think, how is there such a difference? How is there a gap in that? For me, Allan Saint-Maximin, it's rather a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, or a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 in a player ratings at full time. You never leave the pitch and you think, oh, Maxi was all right today, wasn't he? He was alright. You know, that was a good little thing he did there. I'd give him a 6. It's like he's rather amazing or shite. There's no in between. And that's the level that he needs to find in terms of consistency and at least the work rate, and at least doing 1 or 2 things right, instead of being up here or down there. At least try and find a level ground of, well, he got an assist but he got that wrong, but do you know what I mean? Inconsistency is Allan Saint-Maximin's problem. It's like he wakes up on a match day, if he has a nice morning with his missus, if she feeds him a nice protein shake, Weetabix smoothie, you know what I mean, sorts him out, then he has a good game. But one day he wakes up and his missus has already left the house, she's walking the dogs, and he's got to make his own protein shake. You know, the milk's out of date. She's ate all the Weetabix, give them to the kids. Then he's fucked, doesn't play well. Do you know, so it's a strange one. And honestly, if you had asked me before that Man United game and this season, I've kind of leant towards Maximin's future's up at Newcastle. The time's up. I love him. He's saved us so many times over the years. He's brilliant, his connection with the fan base. He's connected with us before, you know, so he's replied to some of the videos and that, so he's brilliant in that sense. But there's times where you look and you just think, yeah, he doesn't fit the system. He doesn't fit Eddie Howe's identity, the intensity. He doesn't. But then he's shown that he can do it. He's shown the other day that he can. So for me, I would lean on the side of keeping him now. I would keep him now. Eddie Howe was asked about Maxi's future in the press conference today, and he said, I wouldn't be playing him if I didn't see a future at the club. I wouldn't be playing him. So he said there's still a couple of things he can work on, but I would never coach Allan Saint-Maximin like I would a lot of other players, because he says he's got unique qualities that you would keep. He's got unique qualities that you wouldn't want to coach out of. You know, you'd want to keep him doing certain things his own way. So for me, I'd keep him. I want to know in the comments what you think below. Would you keep Allan Saint-Maximin? Do you think he'll stay? I'll say yes, I want to keep him now. Do I think he'll stay? It's hard to call with these games that I've got left of what will happen. Will he play? Who we're saying this summer, but you could definitely see it. Remember, tune in tomorrow night on the MaxPie Channel TV for the live watch along, and I'll see you on the next one.